Damien O'Gara. I'm the Chief Digital and Information Officer for Kent. Kent has a value-driven strategy. Value to us means societal value, it means employee value, it means revenue, of course, and it means efficiency, creating efficiency through technology. Yeah, so it's an interesting question. I think I've been digitally transforming all the way through my life, right? So it's a buzzword that is all the way through my career. I think it's a buzzword that is used a lot in the industry now. What does it mean, digital transformation for Kent? It means creating value through technology, right? Continually creating value, using and leveraging the best technologies. So we have at Kent what we call a value-driven digital strategy. And value isn't just about the dollar sign for us. Obviously it's important, so creating revenue, creating efficiency, shareholder value, but also it means employee value. How can we bring value to our employees through technology? Culture, how can we impact our culture through technology? And obviously we're an energy company, so environment, and that's an important aspect, societal value. So we've got a very demanding business. We work around the world in the harshest climates in the world, the hottest and the coldest. And I think the top three are our agility to deploy around the world, mobilize, demobilize. Availability, making sure that we have high levels of availability for our business. And security. Obviously security is massively important, and particularly in the sector that we work in. Well, availability, we've got a cloud-first, SaaS-first approach. So we're working with the top cloud providers. Cloud migrations at the centre of our strategy. So, and obviously we work with tier one companies that have tier one data centres. So that addresses the availability. We've invested heavily in network technology to make sure that people at the edge have really, really good internet connectivity and connectivity into our network. So that kind of addresses availability. From an agility perspective, I think cloud does help for sure, because it allows us to scale quickly and descale, scale, support mobilization, up and down. Obviously, cybersecurity is massively important. So we have what we call a security council that meets regularly. Security isn't just about technical security. It's obviously got information security as well. Documents and policies and processes to follow. So we measure every aspect of cybersecurity and on a regular basis, and make sure that we're delivering world-class protection for our employees. Yeah, so I think digital twin sits quite high actually in our industry, because this digitization of physical assets. Obviously the energy industry is heavily physical assets, right? So digitization of those physical assets, I think, will increase and mature. That will bring efficiency to our clients. So we work with big international oil companies. So we work with those companies on digital twin initiatives. I think I've talked about cloud already, but cloud computing will continue to mature. We will, as Kent, will continue to embrace cloud, and I think it's still got a way to go. I think there's been obviously a lot of cloud initiatives over the last few years, but I still think we're still on that journey. Oh, it's massively important. The environment, social and governance, massively important. So obviously our clients, international oil companies, national oil companies, they have their own targets. and we have our targets as well. So the environment is massively important. I talked at the start of this interview about societal value. So whatever we can do as a technology team to reduce power consumption, or whatever initiatives that, so we have some really cool stuff going on here. For example, we have 10,000 employees in the company, and we've just launched an initiative to plant 10,000 trees, right? So the employees can use an app to plant the tree in Kenya. It happens our forest, the Kent Forest is in Kenya. They can connect in with the farmer, chat to the farmer, and they can also measure for the trees that the employees plant. They can measure the carbon sequestration, which is very, very cool. And apps like that, initiatives like that can all help. Things like desk phones, simple things like desk phones, right? We used to have our company used to have desk phones everywhere. Now you won't see a phone anywhere, right? So all that plastic, we're replacing those phones with plants, right? So the idea here is to have on the plant, I used to be a phone. But now we have Microsoft Teams, we've got mobile phones, so we've got satellite phones, so why do we need desk phones? Absolutely. I'm very passionate about this topic. I think at Kent we have a culture program, and that we've engaged with all our employees to build a fantastic culture. And obviously technology is a large part of that. So we obviously things like Microsoft Teams, the ability to communicate and collaborate with people that are dispersed around the world. The other day, there was one of our leadership teams had their weekly meeting, management meeting, but everybody in the company was invited to it to see how that dynamic worked. 750 people attended the call and listened in to that meeting and picked up all valuable insights to what's going on. So you wouldn't have been able to do that even 10 years ago. We also use a product called WorkVivo, and WorkVivo is a little bit like the Facebook for organisations. It allows our people to communicate, share great news, to commenting on each other's work. It's a fantastic engagement platform. We're at an interesting juncture in this company's history. We have a heritage going back to 1919. Last year we made a major acquisition of S&C Lavalin Oil and Gas, which came together with Kentec, and we rebranded as Kent. It's a perfect moment for us to build a new culture. We refer to ourselves as a billion-dollar startup. So working at Kent is a little bit like working in a startup organisation in many respects. And at this point we have counselled all our employees and asked them, what do they want this new company, this new brand, what do they want the culture to feel like? And we're getting the results in now from those surveys, and it's a very, very exciting time for us, really exciting time, because we are building this billion-dollar brand, which is so cool. I joined 3 years ago, and I've got a consulting background, and I applied consulting techniques. The first thing was to measure all aspects of technology. Once you understand where we're at, then you can set where do you want to go to, and then you create a roadmap. So in my first few weeks, I'd say in the first maybe 6 to 8 weeks, I completed the assessment and then put together a roadmap to make the organisation world class, with the view that at the time we had a program called the Engine for Growth, which was to make Kent a billion-dollar business. So, and here we are today, 3 years later, we are a billion-dollar business now. So that's cool. So my role was to come in and lay the foundations for scale. So that meant replacing ERPs, refreshing network technology, refreshing servers, laptops, so all aspects of technology. Yeah. I think it's great, the Middle East, right? I think that it's very ambitious from a digital perspective. Look at all the initiatives, look at the vision of Dubai's vision, look at Saudi Vision 2030, Kuwait 2035. I don't see anything that I was really thinking hard about this question. I can't see anything that I'd really want to change, right? It's a great place. And I think, as a resident of Dubai, all the digital apps work so well, and everything's unified, and, getting access to services is great, and easy. My life story. So I guess I had an interest in technology in the late 80s, and I had a degree in computer science. I got a master's degree in computer science, and then I joined Oracle's graduate program. I stayed with Oracle through the 90s, and then left Oracle and did various technical roles, architectural roles. I think you get to a point in your career where you've learnt the tools of the trade, the technology. You've learned the tools of the trade. You make a decision whether you go on a management track, or on a technology management track, or a management track, if you see what I mean. So either you're going a CTO route or you're going a CIO route. And I think I took the conscious decision to move into program management, portfolio management, running large-scale projects, getting involved in Prince2 and PMI and all the kind of project management tools and techniques. And then that took me on a career path. I think what I did is moved around various industries as well to give me a breadth of experience. So across healthcare, obviously oil and energy, and public sector, private sector, retail, and media. So I had great exposure across verticals, but also I was very interested in getting involved in all aspects of technology, not pigeonholing myself into one particular field. So what do they call it? A jack of all trades. So I became a jack of all trades, master of none, I was going to say, but maybe master of something. Right. So, but I got the breadth, and I think that arms me with enough experience to do my job well. My advice would be to get a breadth of experience. I encourage my team, right? So I've got service managers, I've got infrastructure guys, I've got ERP guys, and engineering, digital engineering resources. But I encourage them all to cross-skill so that they understand and get an appreciation of everything. So to make sure that they're successful going forward.